Right, this is a little modification for those coming from a Technics 1210. More aimed at mixing DJs rather than scratch DJs. And basically, all it is on the Vestax PDX 2000, the pitch is really loose to move compared to a 1210, which is my preferred deck to mix on. But anyway, when I'm queuing up a record, I like the pitch to be not stiff, but to have a nice bit of tension. So when I'm moving it, I can move it a tiny little bit without fear of knocking it, or just pushing it a little bit too much and knocking my my mix out of sync. That, you know, a bit too far. And with the PDX 2000, I just find that the pitch is a little bit too loose for me. So what I'm going to do is a little modification, just to make it pretty much the same kind of tension as a 1210. So first things, take your needle off, take your slip mat off, and whip it round and take off the base. Once you get inside it, your pitch control is just underneath that circuit board. So you're going to take out this circuit board and then you're going to remove the pitch control completely. Right, so once you've got your pitch control out, take some 2mm thick rubber, which is this, I got it off eBay, just black rubber, 2mm thick, whatever size you want to order, and cut out a small square piece of plastic, same size as your pitch control pretty much. Put a tiny little hole in it and slide that on top of this little piece on your fader. Push it down fully, and if there's any little bits of rubber that are sticking up slightly, just go over it with a scalpel and just get off any that's slightly raised so it's perfectly flat. Once you've done that, just take about 1mm off either side of the rubber there. That's just to give it clearance when you put it back together. Then we're going to get some more strips of rubber and we're going to just glue them down the side here, which I'm going to do now. I'll show you in a minute. Just make sure that you cut this piece of rubber here down, just so you can see about half of that top screw hole. Not because you need it for a screw to go in, but because if it's a bit above or covering that screw hole, you won't get the full plus minus 10 pitch. It'll be slightly less because it catches on the frame of the PDX. Same with the bottom. Just make sure there's about so much left, and that's it. You've got your 2 lots of rubber all the way around there, and then you've got your rubber on this little control here, and then you're ready to fit it inside your PDX. Put a bit of Vaseline on there as well. By the way, I use Gorilla Glue. Anyway, looks like this now. Two strips all the way around, and now we're going to put it back in the PDX 2000. Right, once you've screwed it back in, there was an earth that went on there. Don't bother with it, because we're going to reposition it onto this one here when we put it back. Anyway, we've just screwed the pitch control back in, and I'm just feeling it now, and it's really stiff. So what we're going to do is just slowly start to release these screws whilst moving the pitch control up and down until we get it to the exact tension that we want. So you can have it as stiff or as loose as whatever you want, like a Technics 1210 or whatever. Right, once you've got the tension exactly as you want it, reposition this ground onto here, and if you do loop, think where the hell does that thing go? Once you've taken it apart, it goes here. Right there. So just screw your earth on there and put the whole thing back together and you should be rocking. By the way, when you do reposition that cable there, make sure it's not touching any other little solder joints. So just make sure it's pretty much like that. And that's it, all put back together apart from needle, and now you've got a really nice bit of tension on that pitch control. I did put a bit of Vaseline on the plastic underneath, so it's still pretty smooth, and if you did do it a little bit tight at first, it'll work its way in, and you can really get a nice fine little movement on that instead of, see, it's not gonna fly about now. You can just move it really nice and slow up and down. As you can see, it's got a lot more tension.